everyone. Welcome back to the Boleyn Lounge. As you can see, I've got Mick here with me and Budgie from Green Street Elites has joined us as well. Hi, Mick. How are you?
Somebody. Hiya, Budgie.
Hiya, good evening, and how are you all?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you.
Excellent.
Lovely. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
And hello to everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us in the lounge. And I suppose we better start getting on with the show. So, a bit to talk about. A really good win against Freiburg on Thursday night. We were all there to see that. So, what a great evening that was at the London Stadium. You enjoyed that, Budgie?
Immensely. And it was made all the better because I wasn't expecting it at all. I thought I was going to watch a complete, mess. I've got to be honest.
Oh.
Hello, Motto.
Sorry, guys. It's Claire's phone.
Look at that.
Great stuff,
Happy Hemorrheads in the stream. Hello, Happy. Nice of you to join us.
Hey, guys.
She's got a spanner already, look.
I think you've already given her the spanner then, yeah.
I don't know how I did that.
Neither do I, but hey, she's got the spanner.
I think she's talking about Claire's ringtone there, Mick. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, you enjoyed the game, didn't you, Mick? It's a long time since we've seen a game together, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I made the fatal mistake of sort of thinking to myself with 5 minutes to go that I could beat the rush to the tube, which I did, but I missed the fifth goal, unfortunately.
You did miss the fifth goal, yeah.
I hate that traffic light system there, trying to get in and out of that crowd. I was gone, mate. Boom, home.
Yeah.
Long day after work as well, out all day. So, yeah. I've seen it on the telly.
It was nice to meet you both on Thursday, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you too, Budgie.
And thank you for the beer as well.
No, you're more than welcome.
I can tell you, Budgie, you're far more handsome in real life than you are on screen. It doesn't do you any favours.
Oh, you're so flattering. So I've noticed in the chat there, Happy saying that she's the spanner in my chat, not on yours.
Okay, let me see if I can sort that out. You two talk between yourselves for a minute.
All right, okay. Yeah, you're going to get a spanner, Happy.
I'll try and fiddle about, get a Happy spanner.
So shall we talk about the best goal that stadium has yet to see on Thursday night, Budge?
Yeah. I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I was with Happy and the family and that, and it was just incredible. I mean, we didn't know where to look next. You know what I mean? To see where the next attack was coming from. It was really good. It was really, really progressive football.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, every time one of the goals went in, and there was 5 on the day, brilliant. But every time one of the goals went in, it was like everybody, it was just like the whole stadium just let a whole bag of relief out. It was just so good. And I was really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it.
So I was out for dinner on Sunday, and I was explaining to the table I was sitting on that I was up high above the goal, so the net wasn't in the way. I think the London Stadium's got good views anyway, but we had a great view. Yeah. I see him pick the ball up in his own half there, and he beat the first player, and I thought he's going to let it go now. Then the second, then the third, I'm off my seat by this time. I think, is he going to? Yeah. When he scored that goal, Kudos, that fourth one, wow. That was worth. I was going to say worth the entry fee, but I didn't pay a get in because my old mate bought me my ticket anyway. So.
Well, actually, as it happens, you and I got something in common because that ticket was complimentary to me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was worth Jeff's entry for me to see that, to be fair. Yeah, you won't see many better goals if that stadium's around for the next 100 years, man. That was a fantastic.
No, and to be fair, the atmosphere was quality, and to see, every time one of the goals went in, like we were expecting more, like Happy says in the chat. you know, it made a real nice change to expect another goal rather than expecting us to just clam up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, 4 fantastic goals I thought as well on the night.
Yeah.
Bowen's goal was a lovely goal.
Yeah.
Didn't Cresswell take his goal well? I mean, so pleased for him.
You know, to be honest with you, I think for me that was my favourite goal of the night because Cresswell's come under a lot of scrutiny lately. You know, mainly because of his age and stuff like that. I agree, but and I'm guilty of giving him some of that scrutiny as well. You know, I'm not. You know, I hold my hands up. I'm guilty of it too. But to see the way he played on Thursday night, I thought he had a great game, and I've watched the highlights from it as well. And you know, as many different highlights of it as I can. And you know, I still stand by that. I think Creswell had a great game, topped off by my favourite goal of the night. Because it was got it.
I'd argue that, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I didn't say it was the best goal of the night.
No, you're right. Yeah.
You know, it was my favourite. I mean, I love that Kudos goal. In fact, his second goal was good as well. But I really enjoyed watching Creswell take the ball. He stepped it forward, like he rolled it forward with his stud, and he lined it up and walloped it. And I thought, quality, absolute quality. The way he did it, it was very measured. You know what I mean? Very.
It was.
You know, it was that came from a lot of experience on the pitch. You know, the way
he's an interesting one because if he's sort of back to his full fitness, I mean, I know he's slightly, but he's, you know, what's he, 34?
Yeah, 33, 34, yeah, somewhere there.
Well, when he's played left centre back in the 3, he's done all right, you know, and when you consider how poor our centre halves are, especially our captain, you know, there's an argument there for him to play there. He's not going to get in ahead of Emerson, but there's an argument to play there for him. He did look sharp Thursday night for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
do you want to have a look in the chat? See who's in the chat, Jeff? Because
I've just put a message in to let them know I will come to their comments, but you know, I've got to wait for Mick to stop talking.
We'll do another show on the comments then, sure.
Happy. I hope you've got a spanner now. I think I'll give you a spanner now.
Yeah,
so let me know if he's happy.
I can see it now as well. It's there on the.
That's Craig, isn't it, Mick?
That's Craig and Jack, yeah.
Evening, Craig, Jack.
Good evening.
That's my nephew, Budge.
Yep, that's cool. That's cool.
So Happy says, makes a change to watch us play and keep honestly believing we were going to score again. How often do we feel that? And she's right. She's bang on. I know I did think Freiburg weren't great, if I'm honest. But I don't think that takes anything away from our performance. And Kudus's 2 goals were brilliant as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was a part of it was the sheer size of the stadium and the numbers inside the stadium. I think because their home game, what's their capacity? About 32,000, isn't it? I think at Freiburg, somewhere like that, 32, 36,000.
Something like I don't honestly know, but is it as much as that?
You know, but like there was double that there on Thursday night almost. So, you know, I mean, I think that might have had a lot to do with it because we went out and started playing straight away.
Evening, Scott. Didn't see your message.
Straight away, you know.
I think a big part of that was Mickey coming back, though.
I agree. It was really good to see him coming back with a goal, with a decent performance. The only thing that pisses me off, my apologies. The only thing that bugs me about Mikel Antonio is that he puts brilliant crosses into the box when he's out wide, ones that he should be getting his head onto. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're perfect crosses for him to get his head onto. and it just annoys me that it's him putting the ball in, you know. But fair play. He took his goal brilliantly.
That was a great comment at the bottom there. Proper bums off the seat time with the kudos goal. Yeah, that is true. It's been a long time since we've done that.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, and it was almost like the previous Europa campaign. When we were playing Lyon, and they were fantastic games, home games, and Thursday was just like that. It was really good. Really.
I'll tell you what was interesting the weekend while we're still on Thursday night is that
Cam says Cresswell's goal's magic as well. Well, Cresswell was magic, so we sort of mentioned that. We're in agreement with that for sure.
Yeah. And Cam he's a moderator in my on my channel. So
welcome, Cam. Thanks for coming.
He's another guy that you might be able to persuade to come in and have a chat with us one day soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Happy says Zuma has made more clearances than any other player so far. Budgie reckons it's because he flaps and hoofs it.
Well, he does flap though. When he's got the ball at his feet, he's like that, and he's looking for something out.
I don't know about him flapping. I'm flapping when the ball's at his feet, if I'm honest.
Well, yeah, it might be because I'm flapping and he's hoofing it. But yeah, fair play. Yeah, fair play.
And there's just a few people saying hello to each other in the chat.
Right, so just going back to Thursday night, obviously we got the draw on Friday against Leverkusen, and they played. Who do we play Thursday again? Sorry, it's gone off my head. Who do we play Thursday night again? Sorry, it's just gone off my head.
Freiburg.
They played Freiburg, didn't they, on Saturday? Yeah. Leverkusen and only won 3-2.
In injury time as well, I think.
Yeah.
That's 6 goals.
Did you say hello to Mama Flossie, by the way?
I did.
Yeah, we did.
I'm sure I did say hello to Mama.
You did.
Thanks for joining.
I must have missed it. I want to say hello myself. Hi, Mama. Nice to see you, darling.
Oh, and Damien D'Amico said, thanks for joining us, Damien. Good to see you. And he's saying about Zuma, it's because he's on his wrong side, Zuma. But there is something to that. He is definitely more uncomfortable on the left-hand side than on the right-hand side.
Yeah. He's on his weak foot, exactly.
Yeah, he's exactly right,
Yeah. It's actually...
He definitely panics more when he's on that side as well.
Yeah, and I've just seen the next comment from Happy, and I was just about to say exactly the same thing. It's because he's only got one knee.
Well, that as well.
Yeah. I reckon they need to transfer these knees with elephant knees, mate. They're so buggered, aren't they? They go the wrong way and everything.
Barry's joined us again this week. Thanks, Barry. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Barry.
Yeah, right. So
let's talk about the Villa game. Come on.
The Villa game, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we started pretty quick, didn't we? As you know, I missed the end of it, so I had to leave a bit early. So I've only seen match of the day stuff, which don't think does any justice to any game. Certainly not ones we're in.
BBC does no justice to anything, but come on, carry on.
No, well, I thought we started pretty quickly. I was quite impressed actually that we were pressing them quite as high up the field early on. I'm not sure I was expecting it. Thought he might revert back to being a little bit worried about Villa, but I thought we really took it to him early doors, and really nice goal from Antonio, diving header. We don't see too many of them these days, so I thought he did well, get on the end of that. Yeah. And Kudus's goal, I haven't seen any replays to understand why that was disallowed, but I think someone said it was another handball in the box. Do you know about that, Budgie?
I think that's what that was said. Actually, there's somebody in the chat that will tell us exactly why it was, and that's Anton Baker. He
Has
will tell
Anton
us
joined us?
exactly why it was. He's Anton from West Ham Network.
Yeah,
Thank you
Anton, thanks for joining us. And if you know why Kudus's goal was disallowed, I haven't seen that back. So yeah, I'd love to hear the explanation for
It
that.
was another handball claim, though. Yeah.
Are we getting the answer?
Oh yeah, no, it was. It came off of his shoulder.
That's the disallowed goal at the start of the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I did see a replay of that on Match of the Day, and I thought it came off of his shoulder, off of his shirt sleeve here. And
that's
I thought
the thing.
that was like deemed as legal.
We were under the impression that if the ball is in line with your shirt sleeve, as in, similar to mine, if the ball hits you on the shirt sleeve, it is not handball.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Regardless of what position your arm's in. Because that's, people use their shoulders to bring the ball down. And yet you can't score a goal with it when you're at West Ham. It's kind of strange. Actually, kind of strange.
And the last goal that was disallowed, well, I was sat on the station listening to it on the radio, and were you still in the stadium, Budgie? Were you going through the 5.5 minutes waiting to hear the explanation?
Yeah, we were there for right up until, about 2 or 3 minutes after the final whistle, I suppose. The team didn't really come round and thank the crowd much. They just walked towards the tunnel, so, we didn't stay there that long.
I imagine they were pretty disappointed after that. I mean, if
you
had the ball in the net 4 times and you come out with a 1-1 draw, I'm not even arguing about if the decisions are right or wrong, but you must be walking off of there really disappointed not to be coming off with 3 points, I would think.
That's why it says happy
to not acknowledge the fans, I think, was I mean, don't get me wrong, Souček, he turned round and gave a wave round as he was walking off, and 1 or 2 of the other players did, but most of them were focused on getting down that tunnel, which was sad to see, really, because, no, we were robbed of points. It wasn't through a lack of trying. Do you know what I mean? We didn't play a bad game of football. Wasn't the best, but it weren't the worst either. You know what I mean? I think the game
it's a big improvement we've had in the recent games.
Yeah, and like Happy says, before the game, you'd have taken a point, and I think probably most of us would be in that camp and say it would be a decent point against a good side.
Yeah,
but you can't help feeling robbed of 2 points post-match, and I think the players probably feel like that.
We had 2 goals disallowed, Cam's just saying the kudos.
I see that now, yeah. Okay.
Right, so, but we had 2 goals disallowed, and to be fair, I didn't really see any fouls on the keeper because the keeper was right in front of us, wasn't he, in that second half.
Sorry, what was that, Budgie? I was reading the comments.
That's all right. The keeper was right in front of us in the second half, wasn't he? The Villa keeper. So I didn't actually see a foul on him at all. Not at all.
No, I can't say I did, but you don't always see anything, I guess.
I think what he did was he ran into Antonio. Or no, Kudus, I think it was. I think he ran into him, or one of the players anyway. Not ran into him, but he moved into him and then went down like a fairy. So, yeah. Right.
Martinez is one of those characters, though, isn't he? He kind of really milks everything, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, he's been trained to. He has been trained to. Let's be fair. A lot of players that play for certain teams, and Villa being one of them, are very susceptible to play acting. I mean, when he played for Villa, I hated Grealish. I called him a cheat. I called him every name under the sun. When he went to City and Pep Guardiola said to him, get on your feet and stop acting like a dickhead, and he started playing his game, then I started having a bit more respect for him. And now I do consider him to be a good player. But while he was at Villa, he was just a cheater, in my opinion. And you know, it just kind of follows suit. And now, you know, what's his name? Sanchez or whatever it is. But yeah, it just, to me, it just smacks of what they've been taught to do.
I think Barry's referring to Antonio's goal. He said it was called ball to arm. He doesn't see how your high arm is a hand, but refs and VAR must be smoking something high class. But talking about VAR and refs and one thing and another, I mean, with the Souček goal, I think it probably is handball, but I mean, it took a long time to get over it. But one thing I couldn't quite get my head around is on the Antonio goal, they did their VAR review. They instructed the referee it was handball, and he said, no, goal, right, handball. On the Souček one, they spent 5.5 minutes looking at it, and then the referee gets sent to the monitor. Surely if they've decided it's handball, they just instruct him it's handball, disallow the goal. I don't know why he's looking at it.
He was less than 5 yards away from where it happened, and he was looking directly at it, and he gave the goal straight away.
Yeah, I don't understand sending him to the screen. I've not seen that protocol.
He should have overruled VAR. I mean, well, I suppose that's a bit of a claret and blue glasses way of looking at it, but to me, I think the referee should have said, no, I saw that clearly. I don't need to look at a monitor. I am giving the goal, or I am not going to allow the goal. One way or the other, he didn't need to go to the monitor. Good evening,
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, I don't know why he was sent to the monitor.
No, but then, you know, to be fair, it had taken so long already. I mean, that was at about 4 minutes 45 or something. And he's standing there and he's trying to keep the players calm by saying, look, you know, hang on, I'm getting instructions, blah, blah, blah. Then he went to the monitor. All the time he went to the monitor, you could tell he was being spoken to. And all the time he was looking at the monitor, he was being spoken to because he was speaking back. So, you know, I think VAR instructed him to overrule the goal.
I agree with you that we all have our claret and blue glasses on, don't we? So we're all looking from a West Ham perspective.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand the sending of the referee in that instance. So if it's a review of a penalty or something, and it's just you go and have a look at the screen yourself, okay. But in all these reviews of goals, I don't think I can recall another time when the referee's been instructed to go and have a look for himself at the monitor. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Well, who knows what goes on in that little world? You know, I mean, look, if it was more transparent like it is in rugby or NFL, you know, where the referees are talking and it's coming out over the PA, and like, you know, he's getting instructions that's coming out over the PA. You know, if it was more transparent like that, then maybe we might accept it a bit more. But at the moment, it feels like there's, you know, certain teams that are benefiting from it and certain teams that will never benefit from it. I can't say that we're one of those because we have done in the past. I mean, when I can't remember who we were playing, but Bowen got the ball from the touchline just to the keeper's right of the goal and brought the ball back, and I can't remember who scored. Was it Kudos? Yeah, one of them, or Bowen? No, it couldn't have been Bowen because it was him. But anyway, they went to VAR to see if the ball had gone completely over the line. Do you remember that?
That was Arsenal, wasn't it?
It was Arsenal. Yeah, you're right. Now, to be fair, that ball had gone over the line, in my opinion. And it was
inconclusive, wasn't it? That's why they could have ruled the goal out.
Yeah, but then if it takes 5.5 minutes plus
Yeah.
to come to a conclusion, then surely something's wrong, because if it's not clear and obvious, then it has to go in the favour of the attacking side, or whatever that decision is that's trying to be made, whether it's a foul or a penalty or a offside or whatever it is. It's got to go in the favour of the person that's on the attack, and it surely.
Well, you would think so. I mean, one of the things about VAR that's annoyed me for a long time, slightly off the tack of the Villa game specifically, it's just a general bugbear, is that when you're watching on a TV, you've got the commentators who are saying, oh, yeah, I can hear VAR, they're saying this, they're saying that. And yet everyone else is in the dark about it. Now, if they can release the audio, or they have access to the audio to the VAR room through their commentary positions or one thing or another, surely we should all be privy to those conversations, as you suggested in the rugby. So the referee says, I've awarded a goal. Is there a reason I can't award a goal? And the VAR say, I'm looking at this. There might be a suspected handball, but we get talked through it and we get an explanation as they go. But it's like a little closed shop, isn't it? And when you're in the stadium and you're all standing there waiting, and when it's like, I mean, there's often 2, 3, 4 minutes for VAR, but I mean 5.5 minutes plus is like getting absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Listen, at the end of the day, we will never know the truth about a lot of the stuff that goes on at VAR, even if we did have the audio in the stadium. We would never know everything. Because, to be fair, there's stuff that they ain't going to want us to know. Like, for example, I mean, I'm probably clutching at straws here a little bit, but just say, for example, there's a room full of guys that support, let's just say, for example, Stockport County, right? And it's Man United playing against, I don't know, Chelsea, for example. They're going to favour Man United, aren't they? Surely. You know what I mean? They're not going to let you hear that. They're not going to let you hear, we don't want the Southerners to get the game or whatever. It's just, that kind of conversation we're never going to hear. We might hear the stuff between the spokesman in the VAR room and the referee, but that's probably all we will hear. We won't hear everything. Whereas in the rugby, they tell you it, like, you hear the whole flipping thing.
Yeah.
You hear them having the discussion in the VAR room.
Exactly. That's what I think we should have access to, as it seems like the commentators do. But I think that's probably, in all honesty, a show all in to itself. We could spend how long talking about VAR?
Well, we could.
So maybe we'll get back to the game. And there's Damien's observation here about the subs, which we haven't come on to
covered
yet.
that yet. No.
And he says his sub of 65 minutes would be Phillips for Antonio, go 4-5-1 with Paqueta left midfield instead of leaving Bowen up top. I would have left Kudos up there. Well, I must admit, I was thinking about this myself, the substitutions, when I heard about them. I know there's been a little bit of flack for Antonio coming off and too early and one thing and another, but actually I can understand him. I can understand all the substitutions he made as it goes.
I can too.
We talk about he flogs players and runs them into the ground. Well, Antonio's only just back from injury, right? And he was really starting to puff on Thursday night. Probably should have come off sooner than he did. So I don't really have a problem with him taking Antonio off. I just think Antonio for Johnson was a bit of a strange one. Myself, I thought, okay, we could have pushed Paqueta out left, brought Kudos out right, Bowen down the middle, You could have brought Phillips on, or you could have brought JWP on. He could have done any
That would have
number
been
of
my
things,
choice.
I think, other than the swap that he made.
Yeah,
I
I mean, that
understand
would
it
have been
when
my choice, would have been to bring JWP on at that point. Because if you're going to be putting JWP on, you put him up behind Bowen, you leave the midfield as it is,
Yeah,
and you just basically, what you do is you put him up behind Bowen, you put, Paqueta out left, Kudus out right, and then him and Bowen really work well together, I think, anyway. And on that list that Happy was talking about, where Zuma had made the most clearances, I think you'll find that most chances created was actually JWP. So therefore, that would have been my choice. That sort of
That
signifies
includes all his
why I would
corners.
have done that. Sorry?
That doesn't include open play. That's all his chances that they put up on the board is from all his free kicks and that. And he takes all the free kicks, so he's going to have them.
Yeah.
We spoke about it last week. He should be making more chances when they're not set pieces anyway.
Yeah, and and to be fair, I always thought that JWP was a one-trick pony, but he's not.
He's not.
Actually can play. He can actually play, and I've seen one or two of his through balls and that have not always reached the target, but you can see what he's going for, and it's just Paqueta seems to pull it off a little bit more often.
evening, Colin. Thanks for joining us.
What happened to our forgotten hero at 65 minutes after getting the equaliser the other week and hitting the bar and everyone disallowed? Not even seen.
Absolutely. There's a case for Ings could have come. I'm saying there's any number of things he could have done, and of all the things that he could have done, and however he could have mixed it up, Antonio for Johnson really seemed a strange one. I can understand him changing Antonio. I can understand him. Paqueta's only just back from an injury, and we really missed him when he's gone. So I can understand him changing him. And Emerson, much the same, just back from injury. If you think he's don't want to give him the full 90 minutes, I understand. But the way he's set up from those changes, it's why people get on his back, isn't it?
Well, I say the Ings thing was a strange one. If you're taking off a centre forward and you're playing well, and you just switch up that centre forward where you've got two wide players filling crosses into the box, then I don't understand why Ings didn't come on for him. I don't know what it is with him and Ings. I'm not saying Ings is a world beater, but he worked hard in his last game to make a show. And
he's also played for Aston Villa as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance they've got his measure. So, maybe that might have gone through his mind. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. I just don't think the changes he made would have.
I mean,
they went wrong, weren't they? He didn't lose the game. He should have won the games. You can't say they were wrong, but he does leave you with strange thoughts.
Yeah. I watched Stell's show last night on YouTube. The West Ham Voice, and he does a weekly on Monday, and he spoke about Ben Johnson being brought on and Antonio going off, and he made quite a valid point that Ben Johnson's quite a player that can be used anywhere. He's quite a utilitarian player, so he kind of felt that if Johnson had been stuck, sort of centre midfield, that he would help with the defence as well. Well, not centre midfield, but right midfield. He would help in defence as well. So, he kind of made a reasonable argument for bringing on Ben Johnson to some degree. Not that I fully agreed with it all, but, there is that argument out there, as it were. But I think that, as you said, bringing off Paqueta was probably the right thing to do. Let's not overtax him. Let's not have him injured, again. Has he got international duty, do you know?
Well, he did have previously had meetings with the Brazil manager, didn't he? And he was rumoured to be welcomed back into the fold, where he's been left out because of this betting scandal and one thing or another. So
Right.
I don't know if he's been named in the squad or not.
I'm
But
pretty sure he's been
certainly
called up. I'm pretty sure he's been called up.
Yeah, there were whispers that he was going to
Okay.
be brought back in.
All right. Okay. So he's not going to be able to rest up much then anyway. So we're likely to get an injured Paqueta back. What do you do? You know,
Happy's asking, when was the last time? Happy's asking, when was the last time a side got 3 disallowed goals in one match?
God
I don't know. When was it? Certainly don't know the last time West Ham had 3 disallowed goals in a match.
No.
And just previously, I must touch on Barry's comment because he's absolutely right. Emi Martinez is the biggest drama cream in the Prem. Look how he torted players after the World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Evening, Steve Spraggs. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Steve. Runs a really good Facebook page, Steve does. West Ham United Nostalgia page, it's called. So if you're on Facebook, anybody, click to join. It's a good page. None of the modern stuff on it, just the nostalgic stuff. I love it. I'm actually a moderator on there as well, or admin or whatever now. Thank you for that, Steve, by the way. But yeah, good page. Yeah, that's true. That goal from Ben Rama against De Gea was shocking. How he thought he could take a shot from 35 yards was beyond me. He's all right with a dead ball, but you know, and Ben Rama was all right on a dead ball situation at getting power into it. But while he's on the move, he can't get power into a shot.
That's interesting. Tony from Early Doors here says Premier League are looking to question the PGMOL over the 5.5 minutes. I didn't actually know that. So it'd be interesting to see what the outcome is, because regardless of whether they get the right decision, wrong decision, 5.5 minutes to get to a decision seems like
it's not going to change the result of the game anyway, whether they do.
Certainly not. But even going forwards, it don't matter what your team is. You don't want to be waiting 5.5 minutes for them to make their mind up over something.
I just checked Paqueta. He's definitely in the squad.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Oh, Mick, sorry.
Happy says...
I get called all sorts, Budgie, don't worry.
Yes, mate.
Happy says, let's be fair though, had we have continued to play like the first half, those shite VAR decisions wouldn't have mattered as much because we'd have been on top. We were flagging in the second half. I must admit, I did left early, as you know, but certainly Antonio's goal got disallowed and the game almost seemed to change after that.
Yeah, the whole...
It was swinging then.
Yeah, the whole pace of the game seemed to die off, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
but
and then it just started picking up a bit.
Situations where you're going 2-0 up and going to go a point behind United looking for Europa League, and they think, oh, we've done it, now we haven't, we must hang on to this point. There's a mental fatigue gets in there, and it's hard.
Yeah, but he did that at 65 minutes though.
Yeah, I know, but it's still it's high pressure stakes. Yeah,
actually,
thinking they were 2-0 up and then not. It becomes just a little bit mentally.
The difference between 2-0 up wasn't 65 minutes. We were like 47, 48 minutes. That goal got disallowed, and from the moment that goal got disallowed, the game started changing. Then.
Yeah, it did.
And it makes you more tense.
Really good comment on the day. I think it was probably near to the end of the game when we knew we were going to get the 1-1 draw. She turned around and she said to me, "Do you know what? For once, Moyes made his changes too early."
Hi, Rosie. Thanks
I
for
think that's
joining.
a really fair point. You know, I think they were too early. I think, I don't. But I mean, it's been said that Antonio was looking at Moyes to get changed to get taken off because he was getting tired. But I don't know if that's true or not. But I think 65 minutes to change it. That
With the hamstring, though, you know,
yeah, all right, okay. Changing Antonio was probably the right thing to do, probably at the right time. But you stick another attacking player on. If you're getting the kind of luck and the kind of decisions that we were getting, you stay in the attack because we were in the ascendancy at that point. We weren't really looking like we were going to get beat.
Well, if I said to you 3 weeks ago, Budgie, that we draw 1-1 with Villa, you probably would have took it. So
I would have took it on Sunday morning.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's hard to Happy said earlier. Because of the decisions and that, I feel like we were robbed of 2 points.
Well, I agree with you. I
don't actually think, oh shit, we lost that game. I think, we drew that game. But that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we won that game and they fucking took it from us. And it really annoys me. It really annoys me because, like it's been said, 3 goals disallowed, and every one of them goals were not. I think Souček's one was probably hands down handball, but Antonio's goal should have stood. Kudus' goal, there was no foul in it.
I think this comment probably sums it up. Apologies if I get your name wrong, but thanks for joining us.
It's Zdeněk.
Zdeněk. Okay, thanks for that, Budgie. So he says, an unfortunate draw. VAR doesn't cease to amaze me these days. And that's probably sums it up. An unfortunate draw is probably what it turned out to be in the end.
Yeah. And, just to give you a little bit of background, Jeff, Zdeněk is a English teacher. He's from the Czech Republic. He's an Arsenal fan, but since we got Coufal and Souček, he has followed West Ham very closely. We became friends, through, the chatting on a live show. And, I've been on a few of his streams and he's been on a couple of mine. And, but he is quite a passionate football fan. He may follow Arsenal, but he is a football fan first and foremost. He's actually living in Thailand at the moment.
Well, thanks ever so much for joining us, and you're welcome here anytime, Zdeněk.
Yeah, he's a good lad, a real good lad. And if anybody watching hasn't seen him before, go and drop him a subscribe. He could do with it.
Rosie says she just wanted to drop by and show some support. So
hi, Rosie. Thank you,
thanks,
darling.
Rosie. Thanks for coming in, and your support's appreciated. Very well, thank you.
Closet fan.
I think she might have even been talking to Happy, but either way, thanks for popping in, Rosie. And it looks like there's just a bit of conversation going on amongst each other here.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments.
You're reading, yeah, I know, I'm doing the same. Happy's got a good point here, though. She says, our bench is woeful. Look at the other teams bringing on game changers, and we have almost nothing worth having that we will use in the better positions. She's absolutely right. I mean, I still think he could have made different changes than he did make. But it's a very valid point that we're thin. Someone on another stream a week or two ago said, oh, we've got an excellent squad or something, or an exciting squad, I think they said. And I replied to that. I said, our squad is thin as tracing paper. And
Yeah.
it kind of is, right?
We've got an exciting team.
We have, yeah.
We've got an exciting starting. Well, in fact, we've probably got an exciting team with maybe 2 decent subs outside of goalkeepers. That is. Right. Goalkeepers, we've got 2 of the best goalkeepers in the league. I don't care what anybody says. In my
And
opinion.
Happy agrees with the sub. Johnson was the right sub, she thinks. And
Right.
she says Villa were all over us at that point, and she doesn't get putting Bowen up top. And it's cost us. So, I mean, I don't think there's not necessarily any right or wrong answer, is there? It's all about everyone's opinions, and we all see it differently, right?
Yeah.
That's half of the Moyes in, Moyes out thing, isn't it?
And we're all football managers after all, aren't we? You know.
The interesting thing about the squad is I don't know. It's what I read in paper or whatever. I was going to work, but yeah, it said that Moyes has used the least amount of players in the Premier League this year.
That does not surprise me.
I don't know. He'd be pushed. Yeah, you'd be pushed to find someone else that hasn't. But that's what it said.
That does not surprise me.
So I can't back that up with facts and figures.
Damien says JWP is getting a lot of criticism for his small time on the pitch, and he thinks he did okay. I have to say, I'd left the stadium by that time before JWP came on, so I can't really comment on his performance on Sunday.
And I've got to be honest, I stayed in the stadium and I didn't even realise he was on until at the last 2 minutes of the game when he turned around and I saw the number 7 and I went, oh, didn't even realise he'd come on. I really did not realise he'd come on. I didn't see anything spectacular from him. I didn't really see him involved in the game. But, he was at the other end of the pitch, so... it's a bit different.
I think Happy's right here with this comment as well. I think she sort of sums up perhaps Moyes' philosophy that he clearly didn't think that we were going to go on and strengthen our lead, so he tried to hold on to what we had. And it's kind of what he does, isn't it?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, he's actually like a hibernating bear. He'll run out and growl at you and then go back in and go back to his, revert back to his hibernation.
Well, to be fair to him, he gets a lot of criticism there, guys, but you've just said yourself, he's nothing to come off the bench. So he can't perform miracles. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not...
No, but he could have made more in January.
We did that thing last week on the manager, so we won't go too much back into what we did last.
Yeah, but he could have done a lot more in January, though, Mick.
Well, apparently, financially we couldn't. So whether you believe that or not, I don't know. I don't know the state of West Ham's fair play finances, but
we're not a problem. I don't think we needed to offload.
What did we
not bring in on finances? And if it was, then why did we bring?
Okay, if he had Ben Rama to bring in on Sunday, would he have made a difference? No,
I'm not sure he would.
He hasn't made a difference.
But Fornell definitely would have done.
Who?
I think the thing is, right?
Fornell has not made a difference for over a year now. He doesn't
play
bad, but he doesn't make a difference.
You don't get paid.
But the state of our squad, whether it's down to Moyes or not down to Moyes, right, and that's open to debate, is to some degree self-inflicted on ourselves. It is West Ham's fault. Now, whether that's Sullivan's fault or whether that's Moyes' fault, but it's West Ham's problem, right? Yeah. And we should have done better in January, whether that meant retaining players, but I think they wanted to leave, right? Yeah. So how do you keep unhappy players that haven't really been doing it for us?
You've got money for players that aren't doing anything for us, and that leaves it open in the summer. You've got that money. There must be some money from that. There must be a release of wages from that. So things aren't built overnight, but can't really criticise Moyes too much on substitutes, particularly because as you just said it 2 minutes ago. What's the bench? What is the bench? You know, no matter what he does in a game, people will all have a different opinion. I said opinion on Ings, but that was only my own opinion. But really, Ings has not set the world alight apart from that game where he played well against Sheffield United.
Ings isn't a solo striker, though, is he?
Pardon?
Ings isn't a solo striker, though, is he?
No, but you could have played him. If you talk about a number 10, you could have put him there.
You could have played him behind like he did at Burnley, right? Yeah. And then he comes effective.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you could have put Ward-Prowse on the right, maybe, if you wanted a more forward-thinking player than Johnson.
Yeah, there's lots of options.
Yeah, that would have been my choice, like I said earlier. I would have put JWP in for him straight away.
Happy says JWP is the new Souček in terms of some fans, and I kind of know where she's coming from there. I watched a few forums, and he hasn't been setting the world on fire, but he certainly has become a bit of a scapegoat for some, and that was Thomas's role not so long ago. He's sort of come alive in recent games.
Well, he's been alive all season, Jeff, and that coincides with Rice leaving. Yeah, so you know, we were a one-man team at one point with Rice. Yeah, that's the way people thought about West Ham, and he was told to sit in beside him and not get forward, and that's the way we play. We are playing slightly differently this year, to be fair. I mean, we're not all. We've had some bad games and we've sat, but you know, again, Souček, if that goal would have gone in Sunday or been allowed, that was 10 for the season for a defensive midfield player. So.
It would have been Bowen's goal anyway if it had gone in.
Well, whatever, but
that's okay because Bowen's tally would be clocking up as well.
Yeah.
Getting closer and closer to 20 goals.
It coincides with Rice leaving. I think his improvement. Yeah, I think there was too much of West Ham Rice.
You know what though? It does make me laugh though. Like when I speak to my locals. Arsenal fans. I'm not talking about the guys that I've spoken to on streams, but the local lads that are Arsenal fans and other fans from other teams as well. You know, they like sort of spoke to me about us selling Rice, and they sort of always say to me, "How do you feel about it, etc., etc." And one thing they always say to me is, "Oh, but he's a world-class player now, isn't he?" And I say to them, we knew he was a world-class player 4 years ago, mate. You lot have only just caught up. I said, you know, he was playing fantastic football for us 4 years ago, all the way through the lockdown and everything. I said, and you know, I said it weren't until the lockdown everybody started watching him. I said, before that, we all knew that he was going to be world-class. Now, all
why do you bring Rice up, Mick?
Huh?
Why do you bring Rice up? We were talking about Rice now.
No,
I'm sorry.
What I'm saying was, I think Souček's played better with that Rice in the team.
I know.
Yeah.
And I also concerned that we were a one-man team.
Talking about our other holding midfielder, we're moving on to our other midfielder.
Yeah.
Barry says here now. He says, let's hope as we've got no Alvarez now for the next few games. Maybe JWP or Calvin Phillips can step up and actually have a few decent performances as we've got a couple of big games coming.
He's only banned for the Euro game. He's only banned for the Bayer Leverkusen away game. That's all he's banned for.
He's banned for the next 2 Premier League games, Mick.
What, you get booked on Saturday again?
You've got a booking on Sunday.
Oh,
yeah.
Didn't realise
that.
So,
Phillips has really got to step in now and show us that he's a good player, hasn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Well, I still think he's a good player. He's a good player in Phillips.
He's got to show it to us now, though.
Well, maybe sometimes when an Alvarez isn't there and he's really got to step up to the mark, he might do. Yeah,
we're going to find out.
Alvarez is a good player, obviously. But, well, I'm also, we talk about squads and stuff, how much we relied on Paqueta when he wasn't in the team. But, again, just if he's going to go in the summer, we need to spend that money well, because there's big talk about him going to City now again, isn't there, this last week? But I actually don't mind that, providing that we buy good players to come in. This being a one-man team thing doesn't sit with me. Kudos, Bowen, Alvarez, JWP on his day. We need players that not relying on the long.
Forgetting about Emerson, Paqueta.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just using a few names.
Very important. In fact, I think Emerson's a very important player. He's one of my favourite players at the club. But he's very important. Not only has he got like the experience and everything else that he's got, he's also improved his game tenfold since he's been here. You know, his game has got so good now, and we miss him when he ain't there. Although Creswell had a great game the other day, but we do miss Emerson when he's not.
I only read it in somewhere this week that there's going to be a serious offer of 100 million coming in for Paqueta. I say take it. I say go out and get 2 good players, or maybe even 3 good players for that money. Yeah, and make
like we did with Rice's money.
Huh? Like we did with
Declan Rice's money.
Yeah, not saying that
we spent that brilliantly, in my opinion.
What's that, buddy?
When we got the Rice money, 105 million, I think we spent that brilliantly.
Yeah, we did.
That's the best spending we've done in probably 40 years. Opinion, like in bulk buying, as it were, kind of thing. You know, when we bought in a few players in one window. I think that's the best window we've had in years and years. I think, you know, the only player that was sort of half questionable was JWP for me. But like I said, I've learned to enjoy his game a bit more now. You know, because I think there is more to him than his free kicks and penalties. You know.
Right. On that note, gentlemen.
On your stream,
Jeff?
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I've got still some bits to get ready for the morning. Yeah, at work. I've just had one of them days today. Yeah.
Okay, no problem, buddy.
I've got another 20 minutes of work to do, so I want to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Good luck to you all, and I'll see you next week. I'll speak to you in a week anyway, Jeff. But
I'll see you next week.
All right, lovely. Thank you for coming into the show, everyone that was on the comments. Take care. Bye-bye.
Speak to you later, mate.
Bye-bye.
And then there were 2.
Yeah.
I mean, also I want to quickly go back to the Villa game again, and the officiating in that game, which, as we all know, was very poor. But there's one standout thing in that game that really boils my bacon, if you like, and that is that who was it that got the Alvarez got the yellow card for kicking the ball away when it was dropping down to him. Okay, the whistle had gone, but he still took the shot, as it were. Right, that's how I saw it. Okay,
goodness, he's gone.
He got a yellow card for that, for kicking the ball away. And then that I don't even know who it was. It was the Villa player who kicked the ball away and didn't even get told anything because he already had a yellow card on him.
It was Zaniolo, I think.
It was Zaniolo. But it was him, yeah. He already had a yellow card and he kicked the ball away, and it was a worse offence than Alvarez's, in my opinion, because the ball was stationary when he did it. And he didn't even get spoken to.
I think Barry makes a good point here. He says, just to think all the goals and points we've had taken away this season, we would be above Manchester United and Spurs. It's funny how we get kept away from finishing in the top 5.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we shouldn't be 2 goals down to Burnley, right? There's no way. But we were, and we came back in that second half, and how we don't get awarded that penalty at the end, I don't know.
I know, and, it was criminal.
Yeah, and on the back of that, we've had 3 goals disallowed this weekend, rightly or wrongly. But you can make an argument after a dodgy run where we couldn't win a game for Toffee. we should have had 4 wins on the spin and should have 12 points out of 12. That's before we start talking about how Sheffield United get awarded a penalty for our goalkeeper getting elbowed in the face. So, yeah. I mean, we got away with one perhaps at Arsenal you touched on there, but I think we've definitely lost more points than we've gained through VAR and refereeing.
Most certainly. And, you know, it just goes to show you, like you said, it's almost like, come on, we cannot let them finish in the top 5. Do you know what I mean? It sort of almost feels like it's personal.
Thanks, Happy.
Yes, indeed. In fact, Jeff, I haven't got long left in me, mate. I've got to be honest with you.
No problem, Budgie. Thanks for coming, mate.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, you know, I'll help you finish up the show if you want to.
I'll skip through these comments, make sure we get through them all, and then we'll call it a night. No problem at all.
Yeah, mate. Cool.
So Barry saying, "Oh no, not that it is. We're little old West Ham. We have to be grateful to be where we are. What do we have to moan about?" And well, that could fit lots of caps, couldn't it? If you listen to Talksport, any of the pundits, anything else, it's a bit of a theme.
I've kind of stopped listening to Talksport, and I haven't partaken with any of the BBC stuff in probably 7 years.
And as Happy says, just on that note, says reminds Barry that not to forget to be careful what he wishes for.
Yeah. He means he's a closet West Ham fan.
Yeah, I guess I get that.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Oh,
it's in Vietnam. Sorry, not Thailand, Vietnam. My bad, mate. I should know. Oh, thank you very much.
Says definitely not like the teams we should beat on paper. We would be in that title race. Just imagine we was higher. Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, and Antonio would play hard to get there. Just not Moyes. Well, I mean, good on Thursday, I have to say. I don't think they were great. But I don't think we were dreadful on Sunday. Just second half let us down. But how many times can we say that this season where we've got good 45, bad 45? Yeah. Happy says we've got a decent team for an hour.
Yeah, well, that's pretty damn true, you know. Some can last 60 minutes. Yeah, exactly right, Barry. You know, God almighty.
And Barry says he doesn't think he's ever seen Moyes use all 5 subs. He's probably not far off there.
Not in a competitive game. Not in a competitive game, no. But I've seen him use them all. In fact, he used 7, I think it was, out of the 8 he was allowed to in a pre-season friendly.
Happy didn't realise JWP was on either, Budgie, so you're not alone.
No, she's saying, she's like questioning me. I didn't realise. Well, to be honest with you, Happy, it was your auntie that told me he was on, and I went, "Oh, really? Where?" And she went, "Up there," and I went, "Really?" And then he turned around, and I went, "Oh, okay."
Next potential angle. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
Barry says Bowen, Paqueta, and Kudus are a dangerous front three, and Antonio, that's strong. They all need to rotate, keep it tight. We will see how they break teams down. He's not wrong there. That is a pretty intimidating front 3/4 if it's all firing. And
considering now that Bowen's had some central experience as the striker, now that he's had that, there's, you know, it can flow more, you know, like, because you got Paqueta out. Paqueta out on the left, which is what he chooses to do rather than put Kudus there.
And Kudus has been there last couple of games.
Oh yeah, yes he has, hasn't he? Yeah. So you're right. So you would have Paqueta in the 10, you'd have Kudus out on the left, you'd have Bowen out on the right, And to be fair, they can all mix and match and flow, and because Bowen, he's got a left foot, so there's no harm in him being out on the left. I've seen him out there in games, when he can hook the ball in and stuff like that. So, that is quite a dangerous mixture when you've got players like Kudus who can explode from halfway in his own half and score, which has been quoted by Talksport and TNT Sport and Sky Sports as the goal of the tournament so far. I mean, that was explosive. When he picked that ball up, it was like somebody had lit the blue touch paper and he just went.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many Premier League teams he gets to run through like that without a challenge anywhere, if I'm honest.
True.
But I don't want to take anything away from him. He carried the ball pretty much the length of the field, slotted it away.
And he anticipated the movement. He anticipated the movement from the defenders. It was fantastic to watch. Really, really fantastic to watch. He was probably used to doing stuff like that when he was at Ajax.
Yeah.
Because that
David, he says that all these teams have two centre forwards. Everton's got Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Beto. Villa had Watkins and Duran. We need a centre forward in the summer as well as keeping Antonio. I mean, we absolutely do, because if you say they've all got we've got two strikers, if you like. We've got Antonio and Ings, but it's not really the answer. We definitely need Antonio needs to be playing second string. Ings probably needs to move on, and we need a proper someone to lead the line in Antonio's place.
Jonathan David, the young Canadian. Well,
Jamie joined us. Evening, Jamie.
He would be one of my picks. And he's a realistic target, in my opinion, as well. Although, Antonio, Ings isn't going to fetch much money. And he may retire from us. Who knows? You know what I mean? But which means that we wouldn't get a bloody penny for him. So, we got to go for realistic targets. We can't be looking at the likes of Højlund or Haaland or Ollie Watkins, even Ivan Toney, I think he's probably been priced out of our range at the moment. They're wanting
Happy says here. Yeah, we're not going to get Tony or someone like that. Happy says here about Moyes' statement, read a Villa game. She says, Villa made changes at half-time and it really improved them. We found it difficult, but tried to hang on. And then she's asking, sorry, but who didn't loan buy game changes in January? I think there's something in that, but like we touched on, I'm not absolutely sure who is to blame for that. I guess Moyes is somewhat culpable, but I actually think the board are really culpable in this, because if you look through January's, right, we hardly ever sign anyone who very much business in January at all. And there's been a couple of times we've been in really good positions and we've been crying out saying, make a couple of signings in January and we can really push on and make this a really successful season. And guess what? Never been backed, whoever the manager is. So there's a theme there for me, and that's down on Sullivan. Not entirely. I don't know if Moyes is culpable, but I think the board hamstring managers.
Yeah. I mean, I think, one of the things that we got to do is we've got to trust in Tim Stuyton. We've got to trust in him. I think if the club approached him and said to him, right, go and get us two decent strikers for the summer, I'll guarantee you now, we'll probably spend maximum of about 40 mil on each. And they'll come from real decent pedigree. And, they'll be I didn't really know much about Kudus before we were linked with him.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about him, if I'm honest.
Didn't know much about him at all. I knew about Alvarez, that I did know about. But I didn't know anything about Kudus, really, to be fair. And that surprises me a little bit as well, because my brother-in-law is Ghanaian, and he tells me all about the Ghanaian players. And he hadn't really spoken about him. So, we got to trust in Tim. That's what we've got to do.
Yeah.
Ian He's got to be given a shopping list. He's got to be given a shopping list with like a figure next to every item. He needs to go out and get them.
Ian says here,
go soon, Jeff, because I'm really starting to, mate.
No problem. Ian says he feels sorry for JWP. He's a decent player, and he's basically been moist and a victim of the system. But I agree, he started the season well, and he's been popping up on the left and everywhere. Budgie, if you're tired, mate, you need to shoot off.
I'm going to have to go, buddy.
No problem, buddy. Do that, and I'll finish up these comments in the chat here, and
okay.
And I'll speak to you in the week, mate.
Yes, definitely. I'll chat to you.
Thanks ever so much for joining me.
No problem at all, and thanks to everybody in the chat. Happy you are now a spanner here as well, so congratulations for you on that. And thanks to everybody that came in from both channels, mine and obviously this one, Boleyn Lounge. Brilliant stuff. Don't forget to subscribe, like the stream, hit the bell notifications, all that good stuff. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it, mate. I'll talk to you real soon.
No worries, you're welcome anytime.
Thanks, guys. Oh, and I just noticed that Wally World's in the house. Wally, take care, buddy. I will speak to you soon. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Cheers, Budgie. Thanks, mate. And that's it. I'm on my own. I'm flying solo, guys. So I'll just nip through your comments. I don't want to leave anyone out. Barry says, I personally think we should have blooded Mbama into the first team and play him at the worse of teams to get him time and form. By now, he would have been a half-decent replacement striker. No time, though. Well, I mean, I just have not seen enough of him, Barry, to make a judgment at Premier League level. I know he's been sort of doing well in the under-23s and scoring plenty of goals. What we have seen of him in the first team, he hasn't set the world on fire. But that said, he's had very limited opportunities and minutes, so it's probably not fair to judge him on what we have seen of him so far. And, now we don't know if he's going to sign a new contract and be here next season, so it might be one we missed out on. But if he moves on, goes elsewhere, we'll find out if it's one that's going to bite us or one that just perhaps ain't good enough. We'll see with that. Yeah, I did see that, Happy, that apparently the Manx want to do a deal with Paqueta and Maguire. I don't know if that's just nonsense paper talk, but, well, I guess we'll see. And Ian agrees with Barry about Mbama, and it's not going to happen under Moyes. And it's just not, is it? Simple as that. It's not going to happen under Moyes. And Barry makes his feelings clear on Man United with Maguire. He thinks they can do one. Jamie says, Rice is contributing a lot more goals for Arsenal. He's got a different role. He is. He's in a slightly different team with different players around him, and I think it frees him up. And he never used to take the corners at West Ham either. So that's given him a few assists, I think, hasn't it? Yeah, and Happy says JWP has created 56 big chances this season. He isn't shy, but should never be put on the left wing again. And I absolutely agree with that. I mean, the worst place for JWP to pop up is down that left side. He's got no choice but to turn back. His left foot is absolute rubbish. He needs to be on the right-hand side. He can whip them balls with his right foot. He'd be much more effective. But I don't know. I think that experiment must be over, surely. And Happy's just reminding Jamie that Rice also poops his pants. And Jamie's saying that obviously Alvarez missing gives JWP and Phillips an opportunity. Well, you know, either or, both of them are going to have to step up to the mark and show what they're made of in the absence of Alvarez, no doubt about that. Ian says, for him, Alvarez is rapidly becoming our main man and the most important player. I think that's a really fair comment. Excuse me, because I've lost my place now. It's a really fair comment. He is very, very important to us. There we are. Sorry about that, guys. And Happy's just saying that he's suspended for Newcastle and Tottenham. Alvarez, that is. Very poor for him to have got booked again. He knows how key he is, but he's a hothead. He is a bit of a hothead. And Jamie's saying that be a high price tag on Lucas. Well, he's got an 85 million release clause, I think. So unless there becomes a bidding war, I guess it's going to be 85 million. Oh, and Happy's just said that in the chat as well. Emerson's king of UEFA. Happy saying, Ian, for the level of opposition for our next 3 matches, I can't think of a more crucial player to have lost. And I absolutely agree with that. I'm really worried about him missing for the Leverkusen game. Really, really could have done with him out there. But, well, Phillips comes in, puts in a couple of decent displays. Perhaps his confidence will grow and he'll do a job for us. Let's hope so. Jamie saying could have gone for a centre back. He's agreeing with a change. Happy saying to Jamie, we need a huge overhaul again this summer for sure. So many positions needed and a bench to speak of. And absolutely right. It's going to be a big summer for West Ham. There's going to be an exodus of players, and obviously we need to strengthen anyway. So a lot of investment needed. And then we've got to try and knit that team and all those players together as well. So big job coming up. And I didn't notice that. I wasn't in the ground actually when that happened, Cams, but Zanilio shushed his own fans when he scored. That's good. And Happy Hamlet says she can't stand that Zanilio. Inconsistencies again. He didn't get a bookie for kicking the ball away like we did 5 minutes previous. And yeah, there's a lot of contention about that. Just poor refereeing here. Goals that are not given are not goals. Okay, fair enough. And Happy saying not all of the decisions are correct. I don't think she means especially in this game. I just think she means overall. And Wally's here. Hi, Wally. Thanks for joining us. Late to the party. Well, next week, Wally, 8 o'clock. West Ham is Barry's second missus. Love her more than anything, but my missus comes first. Just not on match days. Well, we can all associate with that, Barry. My missus says she's a football widow. Happy says, we just wish we had a top lone striker and could keep Bowen on the right, if there is such a thing. Well, there are such things, Happy, but they're established. They tend to be very, very expensive. And Jamie says, we need a regen Andy Carroll. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Not regen anyway. Someone in his mould, maybe. Goal of the tournament so far. Must be talking about Kudus, Jamie. And what it's saying, Kudus has a great turn of pace. Second fastest hammer he's seen. Barry's just agreeing with Budgie with what he was saying before he left there. Good night, Zednek, if you're going. So Barry's saying, when you see Mubama play for the under-21s, he looks like he's outgrown them. I haven't seen a lot of him. Certainly haven't seen any of him in the youth. And just the bits and bobs we've seen in the Premier League, which is very, very limited. So really hard for me to make a judgment on him, Barry. And Happy, I did hear that he got a red, but I didn't know that he was laughing as he left the pitch. And yeah, Budgie, if you're still there, good night, mate. I hope you feel well. I'll speak to you tomorrow. So Barry's saying this. He thinks Mubama thinks he's too good for the youngsters, and he should be the new Antonio. Oh, and Budgie asking second to who for the fastest hammer. Happy saying, we all know if Phillips does come in and step up whilst Avery's out, he will be dropped instantly, and rightly so after. Yeah, definitely. He can come in and do well for us, and I really hope that he does. But he's not taking Alvarez's shirt. No way. Man's a beast. And Ian says he agrees with Budgie on Stuyton. We must give him free rein to overhaul the squad, let him put his stamp on the club and trust him. And I don't disagree, but I do think that perhaps in January, Sullivan showed that he's still meddling in transfer business, and I think he undermined Stuyton a little bit, and that's not going to help any of us. Whether Moyes is a manager or someone else is a manager, if we've got Sullivan messing around in the background, interfering in things that he's appointed people to take care of, that are apparently very good at their jobs, he should just leave them to get on with it. And I definitely look shorter on screen than in real life. Yeah, but it's this low chair, Happy. James has joined us. Thanks for joining, James. And Happy Emmet says, I'm happy based off who we've signed thus far under Scarfy to let him take full control of the transfers. And yeah, absolutely, should be taking control of the transfers. And okay, Ian, thank you. And guys and girls, I'm here on my own now, and I'm not nearly as comfortable chatting away on my own than I am having company on screen. So I'm going to thank you all for joining me. I hope you'll join us again next week and over the coming weeks. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take time to subscribe and like the video. Thanks to all of you for coming. And please, if you're not subscribed to Tony at Early Doors TV, pop over, give him a like and a subscribe. And also Budgie at Green Street Elites. And yeah, thanks again all for coming. I hope you've enjoyed the show. And Excellent, thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. Nice one, thanks Barry. And I'll just sort my outro out and I'll leave it there. Thanks everyone, good night, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon.